Welcome back, listeners, to Mosaic's Communities Life podcast, Life in Canada, episode 13. My name is Jane Teasdale, and I'm one of the co-owners of Mosaic Home Care Services and Community Resource Centre, a person-centered community integrated model of care. Our topic today is what are the benefits of connection to nature? Today on our podcast, we have Emma Rooney, who is a certified forest therapy guide and horticultural therapy practitioner with a passion for helping others connect to benefits of nearby nature. She is the founder of www.bloomingcaravan.ca. And thanks for coming online, Emma.
Yeah, it's great. I feel like I'm in back to school season and we're getting going with a bang here.
And I know I've known you, I don't know, for how many years now. You've been coming to Mosaic, actually to our Community Resource Center at the Shops on Steeles. I know I have known Emma for many, many years. She has come to our memory clinics and memory cafes for many years at the Shops on Steeles in 404. And now she is also providing many services for Mosaic and our wonderful programs that we have online today. On the line with Emma, we also welcome Victoria Muir-Burcea, who holds a health degree from Queen's. She is a wellness coach with a passion for helping others connect and create more health and joy in their lives. She is the founder and owner of MYRECREO.HEALTH, wellness platform for focusing on physical, emotional, and brain wellness for women, and she is also the co-host of Let's Relieve.Regret podcast. Welcome, Victoria.
Hi, so happy to be here.
I know, it's a pleasure to have you, definitely online and having this conversation today. I welcome you both and thank you for coming online today to talk about the benefits of connecting to nature, my favorite topic. I would like to start with your unique interactive program, the Growing Wellness Cafe, a memory-friendly community that started several years ago. And this was the brainchild of the both of you. And you had joined forces in creating this program and now moved it online since COVID-19. The program will begin on September the 7th, which is actually on Thursday, September the 7th, October the 5th, November the 2nd, December the 7th, and it starts from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Zoom. I have attended the program online and found this to be a very relaxing, engaging program to include brain exercises, garden and nature, themes, poetry, art, activities, and lots of discussion by the attendees online. The information, education, and an array of pictures and videos are well organized for this online program. After participating in this program, I really feel relaxed, and actually my brain feels it feels a lot lighter. And I just feel that I've been away in the countryside somewhere, and just the pictures are amazing, and the discussions and the poetry that you bring as well. And obviously, you know, I think it's your tone that you use, and a very soft tone when you're speaking to individuals on the line. So it's a very relaxing and calming experience that I think most people feel online. So enough from me now. We want to hear from the experts, from Emma and Victoria. So Victoria, can you talk about how you first met Emma and how the Growing Wellness program was developed and why? And what are people saying about this program?
Sure, I'd love to. So Emma and I met, I think, 17 years ago.
Wow.
I was thinking about it, Emma. I think it's been 17 years.
That's a long time. 17 years. Amazing.
So we've been working together on and off for 17 years. And we met kind of at the beginning of our careers. And we met through the Children's Garden at High Park here in Toronto. We were running programs there, and it's a children's vegetable garden and interactive, and it's really the program spread across the city. And Emma and I met programming there together. And we've, kind of floated in and out of each other's jobs and supported each other for over 17 years. And when the pandemic happened, we got together with another friend of ours who owns a company called Garden Jane. And we thought, well, let's do something to keep people connected to nature, because everybody was isolated in their home. Remember back
Yes.
2 years ago how scary it was?
It was
Nobody
scary.
knew, right? And we left our home for like an hour a day. And I thought it was really interesting. And Em and I had a discussion as well as with our friend Jane about, well, people are really feeling it and starting to really feel what it's like to not be connected to nature. And there's a little silver lining there that now we get to talk about it a bit more. And so we came together and, we thought the pandemic was only going to last for about 12 weeks. So we created a 12-week program called Together in Uncertain Times. And we ran that online on Zoom as a pilot project through another platform. And at the end of the 12 weeks, we found the community really enjoyed talking together. It was the beginning times of learning how to be on Zoom. And we thought, well, we have to continue this. And that's where the Growing Wellness Cafe came from. It started, we called it Nature Club, and then eventually it became the Growing Wellness Cafe. And we gathered once a week and we helped people connect to nature and learn how to connect to nature. And the science behind connecting to nature, if you're not actually out in nature, you can get benefits from being by the window and observing. You can get benefits from having a house plant, right? How can we make sure that we're still connecting to nature? It's been really, really successful. We've had community members coming to the Growing Wellness Cafe since that first 12-week program that are still coming. And it's just been really beautiful. We allow time at the beginning of the call now, and people come onto the call and they're like, "Oh, how was your month this month?" And they share, and it's really been really, really beautiful. And we're really, really proud and happy about this online nature-based community that we've created.
And I know, thank you for that. I know a lot of people from Mosaic, our members that have come to a lot of the programs, really enjoy that program. It is a memory-friendly program first and foremost, but it's open to anyone to sign on, and it is a free program that we are offering. And definitely the program, it is very unique. I haven't been to any programs such as what Victoria and Emma have started to run. And it is about connection. It is about empathy and compassion that they provide in their programs, and very person-centered, which is, the ethos actually of Mosaic is our person-centered care. So this is sort of like another extension to that. Emma, can you describe a little bit? I do know that you talk a little bit about the nature journal within the program, the Growing Wellness Cafe. Can you talk a little bit about this wonderful journal?
I think it's funny that you say that I talk a little bit about it, because every chance I have, I'm sort of sneaking in about it. But I'll just describe, Jane, I've been away on holidays, and I think this program is extremely unique because, yes, Victoria and I are providing a support to the community, but that's coming back to us as well. And so my inbox was just filled with pictures of eggplant that one person had grown, updates from somebody's, hip surgery, somebody else telling me how they've been playing sex therapist to their zucchinis all summer, and the results of that with photos to show. And it's just, every time I open my inbox and I get these updates, it's a real lift. And so we decided early on, when people were so wanting to share what they were doing and what they were learning from the program, that we should really keep some type of group journal. And lots of people said at the beginning that, with this older audience, they're not going to want to use an online drive or anything like that. But we've really shown, no, people want to use it. They're engaging, they're sending photos. People are signing up from the group. We have wonderful volunteers helping us to keep the journal together. And it allows us to keep this record of what's been going on. Victoria, how long have we been doing this now for? Like, it's quite a while. So it's really neat to see somebody say, this is my first year growing garlic 2 years ago, and now they're showing me how great their garlic is growing, and that it's their best season ever. And I think that's a very much part of the program, that it's not just about these monthly interactions, but what people are doing in their daily lives.
No, it
Yeah,
is.
I think the other piece, Emma, you really hit on there too, is it's not just us teaching. It's not coming to a Zoom call and taking a seminar. It really is interactive in a way that's easily accessible, and people really look forward to interacting with each other and not just sitting on a Zoom call and watching a PowerPoint presentation, for example. We're sharing and allowing space and time to really develop it as a community.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and I find that so much less intimidating. When I look at my audience, they have years of lifelong learning experience that I just don't have. So our last call together, we had somebody sharing a poem, another leading an exercise with the group. All the time we have people sharing resources that they want to share with the other members in the group. So it's just really great that it's a community learning effort at this point.
It is.
For sure.
Community learning for sure. And yeah, hearing from some of the people on the call, about their trips, where they've gone, things that they've done within the city, walks that they've gone on in the city as well in Toronto. So, and then also there's been people that have been coming online, hearing you, not only from Toronto, but where are some of the places they've been calling in from?
Yeah, it's so exciting. I always have a goal. All of the programs that I run at MYRECREO.HEALTH are live Zoom calls. I believe in that over pre-recorded stuff for exactly what Emma's been saying and what you've been saying, Jane. It creates community. And we've been so lucky. I always have a goal to get coast to coast to coast, and it's happened. Right? So have Halifax all the way to BC, and on a few calls, we've even gone up to Northwest Territories. So it's so exciting to be nationwide, and we wouldn't have that opportunity, right, if we weren't using this online platform as a way to do it. And it's so exciting in terms of the nature and the gardening and the connection, because people in BC are saying, oh, well, the flowers are out here, and Ontario are like, oh, it's not happening yet.
We're still waiting.
We really get the scope of how vast and diverse our country is in terms of nature, community, people, experiences. And it's also been great to see the community support as well, getting on the call this year, for example. Okay, how are our friends in BC with the fires? What's the air quality there for you? And really people really wanting to just give support and connect and know that they have friends all across the country while they're in this community on this Zoom call and in the Growing Wellness Cafe. And it's been really, really, really exciting for us to see that and to see it continuing to grow.
And they're building relationships as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like some of them know each other, even though they're living far away, they feel comfortable. In the times that I've been on the line or Lauren has been on the line, people are, they're not afraid to talk or share their feelings. And I think that's what you bring. It's a very relaxed type of program. And again, it's not just about looking at PowerPoint presentations. You're getting everybody involved, and I think that's quite amazing in what you've achieved.
Yeah, I think we expected that there would be less interest as the restrictions slowed down. But we had a lot of our members say, well, actually, I live in a rural community and we don't actually have programs to go back to. Those don't exist. Mm-hmm. So you've also had a chance for people to connect, urban people to connect with rural people. And some of our participants have even chosen to get together over the holidays to meet up across the country, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Emma and I were very excited, and they were very excited to share with us that some of them living in the same city, they didn't know each other. Maybe they lived on another side of, we had a couple in Edmonton. They met up for coffee, and they were so excited to tell us that they met up in person at the end of the pandemic for coffee. And so the community is creating, again, access to friendships and community beyond the Zoom call. And again, we're so proud of that, and it makes us so happy.
It is. No, it's a wonderful program for sure. Emma, can you sort of describe how this partnership and why Mosaic, did you choose to partner, I guess, in running this Growing Wellness Cafe? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes I feel like it was just yesterday that I started my own business, but in truth, I've been doing this for a while. And it was so re-energizing when I got started to find Mosaic and to see these like amazing women leading this successful business with this great community spirit. And this was the vision that I had for my own business, for Blooming Caravan. And it felt so right when I walked into that space that you had created. And thank goodness, because when you're starting your own business, you need examples in the community of this working. And
Yes.
you showed me that this actually, it was no longer just a crazy dream. It was possible to create a space for lifelong learning for seniors.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we've really seen is so many new programs emerge in response to the pandemic, and it's been great. But there's also been a steep learning curve. Like, how do you make these programs sustainable? What does the funding look like? And so you've also seen a lot of drop off of different things. And Victoria and I didn't want to see this program disappear because we knew it still had value. And we still believe in this hybrid model that, yes, in person is important, but there's going to be a space for Zoom. And so it just felt right to find a home for this program with Mosaic. And it gave us that assurance that this would be something that would continue, and we'd be able to continue to support the community and grow the community. And as I said to you, Jane, from very early when you agreed to support and to sponsor this, is that these aren't our participants, these are now your participants. And the Mosaic community has kind of been welcomed in,
Yes.
and vice versa. And so that's why it's been a really great partnership to start. And I feel very confident going into the fall into next year that this relationship has got some roots to keep us
Yes.
going.
No, we are lucky that we are able to do that and to provide these, wonderful programs to the community that makes a difference, that connects people, that, provides that person-centered, sort of model that we, spend a lot of time, creating programs. And Emma and Victoria and the work that Mosaic does, there's a lot of back end work to doing these programs. It's not just, okay, let's show pictures, let's do this poem. No, it's a lot of work that goes on. Sometimes people forget about that, or other organizations just think it happens, but it's a heck of a lot of work. And, hats off to the both of you in thinking about this wonderful program and bringing it to Mosaic.
Well,
and to you guys as well. Yeah.
Seconding that from Emma, we're so happy to have landed with Mosaic. And Emma and I, again, from 17 years ago, we kind of learned in this atmosphere of being really intentional about how we provide programming, making sure it's accessible, making sure it's diverse, and making sure that it's relevant.
That's right.
And yeah, we put a lot of work into, being intentional, having the right message, and making sure that each time we run a Growing Wellness Cafe, it's a theme. We really lean into the theme each session, and we really put a lot of thought and work and care into making sure that it's relevant and touching and community based, right? So we're really appreciative of a Mosaic for,
and we can only do that because we have support now managing the registration and making sure everyone is comfortable with the technology, and which is great.
And thank goodness we have Lauren to help us out.
Yeah. Yes, we love Lauren.
Oh, she's terrific. And so, Emma, at this time, can you discuss about Blooming Caravan? I know I touched on it a tiny bit at the beginning, but I just like to hear, and for you to provide the website again for Blooming Caravan and what you provide.
Okay, so I'll start with that. It's bloomingcaravan.ca, and I love to connect with people in their homes. I had envisioned that would always involve visiting people and helping them. We often hear with older adults that it can become a bit dull day to day, and how do we find that spark where we are in our own backyards, in the little parkette that's close by, and re-engage in those interests that we've maybe had to put aside when we've been busy raising a family or working too hard. And so that was kind of my vision, for people to be able to age in place in a really exciting way for that next chapter. And I always saw myself as having this little mobile caravan full of flowers, and it's kind of neat. I've been able to do that with the online version of Blooming Caravan as well. And we're, kind of creating that warm environment, even when we've got an audience of 30 participants, whether it's joining for forest bathing programs or a variety of topics.
Emma, can you also discuss, I do know that you're doing a lot of work in long-term care homes. So can you discuss a little bit about the work that you provide for families or for residents in long-term care and retirement homes?
Yeah, I've been working the past few years as a horticultural therapist in long-term care. And sometimes I find it extremely challenging that many of these spaces have a lovely courtyard, but there is limited opportunity for residents to get out there. And so that's really my focus, is to help people get outside throughout different times of the year. And if they're not able to get outside, can they connect with nature through their window? Can we bring plant material from the forest or from the garden inside? It's just the little things, recording on my phone of a bird sound I heard, or that bird nest that I saw drop out of the tree, which really has made a huge difference. It's not always about these big group programs, but the individualized approach to kind of find where somebody's spark is for nature. For some people, it's definitely gardening, but for others, it might be a new interest in,
That's right.
the pigeons that are outside, or
yes, the
whatever
pigeons.
it may be. Yeah, exactly.
We're inundated with pigeons near the condo where I'm living. But I do think it's important, and definitely, that's what Mosaic provides in that person-centered care model. It's not about, people going to these huge senior centers and where there's lots of people. Sometimes it's just nice having one-on-one, and then that person builds a relationship with you. And then you're opening up to new experiences as well. So I think that's key. And what is your experience then working with people with Alzheimer's or dementia or cognitive issues? Or do you get a lot of calls from families with regards to that?
Yeah, definitely, mainly. And I've worked for the past few years doing an online program for the Toronto Alzheimer's Society. And I think there was a lot of apprehension at first for those needing memory care. How would we deliver it in an online approach? And what we've discovered is that sometimes it can be easier than trying to get a support worker or a family member to travel a long distance for a short program. We can just turn on the Zoom screen, pour a cup of tea, and participate from home. And it's a lot more enjoyable for everyone. And I think that's always been my goal, that it's not just about those living with memory loss, but the whole support network around them. How can we make just very simple, enjoyable experiences that might kind of light up some ideas that can continue throughout the day and throughout the week. Because sometimes it's just going to be 5 or 10 minutes that's really going to make a difference. And we want that to keep going after the Zoom call has ended. I'm really excited also to be doing programming for Baycrest at Home. And I think the online model has really opened up the diversity of offerings
Yes.
that people can get from anywhere in Canada and beyond, of course.
Yes, I do know that a lot of community organizations and Mosaic has kept on our exercise programs and growing wellness and meditation and so forth. We have kept some things online because sometimes people aren't able to get to our center. Sometimes people
Yeah.
are ill. They don't have a personal support worker or a family member to bring them. So, and also, I think we need to encourage the home care organizations for their PSWs to find out what is going on online. So, it's not just about the personal care, but it's also about you, the person, and what kind of different programs or different experiences you can bring. So I think that's, amazing, certainly what the both of you are doing. And now let's hear from Victoria. So if you can tell a little bit about your business, Victoria.
Sure. It's hard to follow up Emma because I just think she's so amazing. But
She is.
Again, I love working with Emma because we complement each other from different ends of the spectrum. So MyRecreo was born out of, I had my own personal burnout. I was working in government doing social work, casework, kind of in the recreation realm. And I had a total burnout. And that was kind of my sign that like, okay, let's tap in after I healed myself and did the work, that was kind of my sign about what I wanted to do. And that's where MyRecREO.HEALTH came from. And MyRecREO.HEALTH focuses on the wellness wheel. So there's many different aspects of health beyond just nutrition, working out, right? There's brain health, there's emotional health, there's environmental health. It's actually on the wellness wheel, right? Connecting to nature is part of our health, our relationship with money, our relationship with many things. And I'd already been doing that work before my burnout. And, it's kind of my sign to say, I want to continue to do this work, but in a healthy way for me and a healthy way so that I can actually really go a little deeper with my clients and with my participants and create communities the way that the Growing Wellness Cafe has turned out, right? Like really creating these connected communities. So recreo is the Latin word for regenerate, restart, and reset. And that's where the name of my company came from. And I focus on working with women 40 and older on the entire wellness wheel. And we provide live classes online on Zoom through our membership. And we also partner with amazing companies like Mosaic. And we do offer movement programs. We also offer a brain fitness program, which is a little bit on the other end of the spectrum from Emma. It's the preventative work. So it is brain thinking exercises, gentle movement exercises that have been designed by neuropsychologists and neuroscientists to connect into the brain and improve, decrease brain fog, improve energy, gain greater cognitive function. So I'm more on the preventative end of the spectrum with the brain fitness, and we've offered that program through Mosaic as well. And it's really powerful stuff. Speaking of the care workers, right? Brain fitness is important for them too,
Yes.
right? You can get really overwhelmed.
Yes.
And it's important to be able to give yourself the stress relief, the worry relief, the anxiety relief to decrease that brain fog, to make sure that you're in tune with yourself so you can be your best. I also offer meditation classes. My most popular class is called the Letting Go of Worry meditation class that we run every Friday at the end of the week, which we've also run for Mosaic as well. And it's a really powerful class. It's a great community, and we come together and we have a chat and do a visualization together. But, what I've really learned from, running my own business and creating communities with women is the power of being honest and the power of being vulnerable and finding the right support. And I run it all on Zoom again, so that everything you need is in your living room.
Yes.
Everything you need is right there. And how do we make it accessible? And how do we make sure that we are hitting all the areas of the wellness wheel, right? So it is a diverse, comprehensive level of programming that MyRecReo offers. And I also offer one-on-one wellness coaching to help people navigate through goal setting, intentions. And the primary focus of that wellness coaching really is emotional health. How can we set boundaries for ourselves? How can we really tune into what our actual needs and wants are? How can we release worry? And then how can we start to thrive through that? And that really grew from the pandemic too, because there was a lot of women sitting in worry.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
Sitting in anxiety, sitting in worry. And from my own personal burnout, I wanted to share really simple strategies and tools that work. Because oftentimes you kind of get the advice of, oh, just take 5 deep breaths and everything will be fine. Or, oh, go have a bath and everything will be fine. And
it's a little bit more than that. Yeah.
It'll be fine. And there are strategies that you can do that take 30 seconds. Like there's brain fitness exercises you can do that take 30 seconds that actually are way more effective. Because how do you feel when you're overwhelmed and someone's like, take 5 deep breaths and everything will be fine, right? You're like, yeah, right, that's not going to work. And it doesn't work, right? Because you're so overwhelmed. You're like, I can't,
yes.
I can't.
That's right.
So it's really about giving strategies that are easy to do in your home, all the way from simple brain fitness exercises to 15-minute fitness classes to smaller meditations to connecting to nature to group, the whole thing, but that's easily and naturally done so that you actually start to make small and slow solutions in your life. And, I really love it. I really love what I'm doing, and Growing Wellness Cafe is a part of that programming too with Mosaic. And my goal ultimately is just to help people have true self-care, to pour from an overflowing cup, not to pour from a full cup and make your cup half empty, to really learn how to always have an overflowing cup and pour from that, and to be realistic and grounded, and to know that deep work doesn't always have to be hard work. It can be fun and it can be effective, and change can happen in many, many ways. And just trying to help create communities of women that are experiencing more joy and feeling more empowered and control in their life. And I think I love it.
Yeah. And I think it's, what brought us all together. I think it's thinking outside the box. And, I think it's that relationship building and definitely working together. So on to my favorite topic now, which is forest bathing, which I love. And, definitely it's not very many people are in understanding about what forest bathing is. And no, this isn't just about going into the forest and bathing and being one with nature. It encompasses a lot of different things. Actually, I've had a lot of experiences with forest bathing, once in the UK in the North Yorkshire Moors on an estate with 100-year-old trees and acres of land. And there were hammocks suspended in these old forests for those that wished to connect with nature. And the other experience I had was with Emma. And Emma did a wonderful program at the Grenadier Retirement, and there was, residents that came and members of Mosaic, and she had us walking through High Park and, connecting with nature. And then she said, okay, now go find a tree and sit by the tree and try and relax. Well, I thought I was ready to fall asleep. I was perched up against one of the trees, and Emma's looking for me, and she goes, oh, there's Jane by the tree. I was so, deep in relaxation. It was such a wonderful experience. And definitely, I've looked in some of the research, like from Japan, and what this connection means, and it's also a part of social prescribing as well, and a part of social prescriptions and the movement that started in the UK in the 90s. So maybe Emma, who's the expert in this, not I, can you sort of talk a little bit about forest bathing and I guess what are the type of programs that you have provided in the community?
I think it's funny that Jane always gives me such credit for my forest bathing guiding skills because I really didn't have to do much. She just had her back against the tree and seemed pretty relaxed. And that's what we say about forest bathing. It's the forest has your back. So it's a different way from how we think about therapy. We like to say the forest is the therapist, but the guide opens the door. And I think that's pretty powerful because, yeah, certainly if you can join a group or read a book or find a certified forest therapy guide, it can be a great way to start. But it's something that people can do from wherever they are, even if it's just this tiny, tiny little bit of green space, or they're connecting with that tree that's outside their window. And I think that's what got me so excited, especially during the pandemic. We were never going to have all the social supports that were needed during this really difficult time. So how could we take advantage and connect with the nature that was right there, even in the urban environments? And as you said, Jane, it definitely comes from Japan. And I originally thought that it was this really ancient Japanese practice, but it actually developed in the 1980s as a direct response to the tech boom. People were sitting at their computers. Does that sound familiar?
Yes. Yeah.
So
For
it's
sure.
not just Japan, not just the 1980s. And they were worried. They have an aging population. They were seeing young men having heart attacks, and they thought, like, what is this going to cost the healthcare system? And that's when they started to investigate what were the other options if people spent time, if it was a day or a few hours in nature, taking themselves a little bit out of the city, what would be the advantage? And it wasn't just the feel good part of this, which I think often gets focused on in the media, but looking at the scientific benefits and how this would release the rising tensions in the healthcare system. And so we've been really, really fortunate here in Canada and in North America that we haven't had to start from the beginning. There's been just this great research, whether it's in the field of horticultural therapy or forest bathing, on the benefits of connecting with nature. But where there seems to me that there's a big gap is actually in the implementation. So, we've had all sorts of studies that show hospitals that, have a window that face a green space have much faster recovery for patients than a brick wall. Yet, we continue to walk into spaces that are newly designed, and some of these simple things haven't been taken into consideration. Or Victoria is always emphasizing, like, what are the things that we can do daily, easily, but how do we help people have this as part of their toolkit, their routine? And yeah, I absolutely think we've talked so much today about the benefit of these community programs and learning from each other. But what we really want is that, none of us can spend 24/7 in a community program. We have to be comfortable in ourselves, in our homes, and to be able to do stuff that makes us feel good all the time. And so that's where this nature prescriptions piece, it's not about saying that you no longer have to go to the doctor, or that mental health and treatments that we get from our physician aren't a good idea. It's about saying, how can we try other things first before drugs? How can we take advantage of the research? How can we support caregivers, health providers to make their job easier? So that's what I often say to people. People think, oh, Emma, you do such amazing work. And the reality is like, my job is easy. It's so enjoyable for people to spend time smelling the roses. And but so how can we make everyone who has a caring job that's supporting people with their well-being and health how can we make it easier for them too to take advantage of these things? We can have talk therapy sitting outside. We can have the reading club taking advantage of the outdoor space. This idea of having the outdoor community center, which Jane, you often talk about with Mosaic. How do we get creative about community space? I think is some of the direction that the forest bathing has really got me thinking about, and certainly during the pandemic. And I think that what's really lovely about it is that this is not about running a marathon or climbing Everest. And so we really can find ways of people of all different physical abilities, and just recognizing that we're not all equally comfortable growing up, so many of us in urban environments, to be in deep nature, and challenging ourselves like that. So really find ways that people can feel comfortable and at home with the nature that's all around them. And of course, we so often forget that we're animals, human animals.
And we need to connect.
Yeah.
It's very
How
important.
can we take advantage of our senses to feel present? I'm still learning how to breathe, this incredible gift that I'm getting from the trees, this reciprocal breath that sustains me. How can I really use this every single day for my well-being? And it's also a way to give back, right?
It is.
I think it's so powerful, Emma, too.
Yeah.
It comes back to Growing Cafe, and that one of our intentions too, and you just said it right there, is it's hard, if you've grown up in a city, or if you don't know how to be outside in nature in all 4 seasons. The reality is that we live in a country in all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
What are the small and simple things that we can do in the off seasons that still take those forest bathing techniques? And we teach that in the Growing Wellness Cafe as well. And the other thing I think you kind of tapped into is this. I've found this with a lot of the work that I've done with women, is just taking a moment of quiet. And Jane, you kind of explained that too. You're just leaning up against the tree, and oftentimes we don't know how to even take a minute of quiet. No. I call it adulting and forward motioning, right? Like when we're kids, we move side to side, we move backward, we look up, we look down, we experience the world, we're more deeply connected. And then we become adults and we do adulting, and it's all forward motioning, thinking forward, moving forward. We only move our bodies forward. We don't experience nature by looking sideways and up and down. We don't experience our bodies in that way. And how can we get back to that place of wonder and awe, and also a place of quiet? Because kids actually are good at taking a couple minutes of quiet in nature. And it doesn't have to be, when you hear the word mindfulness or connecting, it's like, oh, I don't have 45 minutes to do that. I'm going to do it wrong. I don't know how to do it. It can be literally just take 1 minute of quiet and look at something green.
Yes.
Right? Like look at a plant, or and there's so much benefit to that. Start with the small and slow solutions. And again, it doesn't have to be scary. Deep work doesn't have to be hard, scary work, or I don't understand mindfulness, or I don't understand what that is. We have great facilitators like Emma as well. We learn that, right? And we learn that it can just take a moment, and it can have a huge impact in your life. Small and slow solutions, simple strategies, and being in an urban setting, learning just 1 or 2 minutes a day, the power of 60 seconds can really be incredible if you do it with intention.
It is helpful. Yeah. These are all helpful points. So I don't want to forget all this important information. Just moving on, you can certainly see Emma in action because Mosaic, we are doing a program through TD Parks people. We received a tiny bit of funding, which is, tremendous because we've done, want to do a lot in the community and use open spaces. And so you will find Emma at Wards Island, and it's Sowing Seeds of Gratitude, a fall garden festival. And that's going to be on Monday, September the 25th. It is a free event. You can certainly go online and register. And then from that first program, there's 2 other programs which will be online. And one is seed saving and seed ball making. That will be online on Monday, October the 2nd. And Grow Your Own Garlic with Blooming Caravan, and that's on Monday, October the 16th. So it is beneficial to come to all three programs, because the first program is you're getting that kit. But again, we don't want to discourage people from not coming to the online. We can certainly work with you and provide you with the items that you need. The second thing I wanted to touch on was the intergenerational dance party, which is held at Evergreen Brickworks. And this is for the whole family to enjoy and have fun. And again, you can come and see and speak with Emma and Victoria. They've got some wonderful things that they're going to be setting up at the table. This is an afternoon filled with activities, dancing, socializing, clowns, arts and crafts for the kids, face painting, drag queen, dancing together. And that is going to be on October the 14th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. At the BMO space at Evergreen Brickworks. And that's in the BMO atrium. You don't need to register for this, so you can just come and hopefully you can come and take part in that great event. So we have come to the end of our podcast. And before we leave our listeners, I would like to ask both of you if you have any takeaway messages for our listeners. We'll start with Emma first. Is there a takeaway message that you would like to leave?
We're taping this in September, so I think it's just a nice time to remind everyone that back to school is not just for kids. It's such a beautiful season to really feel good about being outdoors and to carry that spirit with us throughout the harder winter. And there's just so many gorgeous places close to you. So why not get out there and make some local discoveries this fall?
Yes, yeah. And could you just say your contact information again, Emma, your website?
Yeah, so you can find me at bloomingcaravan.ca.
Victoria, now to you. What is your takeaway message for our listeners today?
I hope, and I think this has been woven throughout our discussion, small and slow solutions. I'm going to tell you one of the best pieces of advice that I ever got is, at the end of the day, say to yourself, I've done everything I can do today, and that's okay. Be kind to yourself. Take moments of wonder and awe, moments of connecting to nature, moments of connecting to yourself, whether it's emotionally, physically, with food, right? Just a minute of being intentional with yourself and then being kind to yourself at the end of the day will go a long, long way. And that's the messaging that's really interwoven in all of the programming that, we do with Mosaic, I do with MYRECREO. And I hope that you try some of it, and I hope that it makes a difference for you listeners out there.
And Victoria, can you just let the listeners know your website again so they can contact you?
Yep. My website is MYRECREO, RECREO.health. There's no .ca, there's no .com. It's MYRECREO.health. And you can also find my email there. It's victoria@myrecreo.health if you have any questions. I am a one-woman show. I will respond to you. It might take a little longer than 24 hours, but I'm happy to connect with anybody that wants to connect. So thank you so much.
And I just want to thank you both again for your expertise, your patience, your compassion, your empathy that you have provided on this podcast. And to those individuals that attend your wonderful programs as well, the Growing Wellness Cafe. And this is Jane Teasdale from Mosaic Home Care, Life in Canada podcast, signing off until next time.